Hello everyone. We have Shruti with us. She has secured rank 60 in Haryana Judicial Services exam. So I first of all I would like to congratulate Shruti on your this big success, and I would like to welcome you on Loss Eco platform.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
So before we proceed with the interview, I would like to make a disclaimer that this interview is particularly for Haryana Judicial Services exams, and every aspirant and every successful candidate have their own strategies. So if you are taking anything from here, so you can customize it accordingly as per your convenience. So, shall we start? So, how you are feeling after clearing this exam and after this big success?
Sir, in the initial days, I couldn't believe that I have cleared the exam. Now that I have almost 2 weeks have passed since the result, the feelings have sank in. There are mixed feelings of excitement, happiness, and nervousness, even the nervousness for the next life that is about to come.
Okay,
Right,
okay.
sir.
So, what were your educational background from where you did your schooling and later your UG and then law? So, what were your background? Can you share?
I have completed my schooling from my hometown only. Thereafter, I have done my graduation in BA from MCMDAV College, Chandigarh. After that, I have
Okay,
done 3 year law from Department of Laws, Punjab University, Chandigarh. I have also pursued my LLM in Kurukshetra University.
okay. So, were you working during your preparation? Were you practicing or doing some work, or it was just you were doing your preparation full time?
In the initial days when there was pre-exam or when exam was about the corner, I was devoting myself fully to the exam. In the other days, like after the mains result and before the interview, my father is also an advocate. I was assisting him in his work. So I
Okay,
was going to
in
code with him
Chandigarh,
and to,
in
he's working
Chandigarh.
in Firozpur, Punjab,
Okay,
district
okay,
court Firozpur.
okay, okay. So, why did you choose law as a career? What was the motivation behind it?
The biggest motivation was my father only, since he's an
Okay,
advocate. From the very childhood, I have seen him working, discussing the matters. So that was the biggest push towards the law career.
okay. So, when you have start your preparation for judicial services exam during your law school or after law school, completing law school.
I started my preparation in second year of my law school. We
Okay,
started.
okay. So, it was your first attempt, or have you appeared earlier as well for Haryana Judicial Services exams?
This was my second attempt in Haryana Judicial Services and my third attempt overall. I appeared in Haryana Judicial Interview in 2021, then also an interview
Okay,
of Punjab in 22. However, I couldn't clear, and this time I made it.
okay. So have you appeared before for other states in judicial services exams as well? Any other
So, sir,
states, or you have just focused yourself on Haryana Judicial Services exam?
so my only target states were Punjab and Haryana, so I have only appeared for these two states only. I haven't appeared for any other
Okay,
state.
Haryana and Punjab. Okay.
Right.
So as we know that this is a very long process, means uh, the preparation itself is a very long process. It is having, and the exam is having three stages: prelims, mains, and interview. So how you manage it, and what were your strategies specifically for the prelims, for mains, and interview?
So for the prelims, I used to go for the Bear Acts. I used to revise Bear Acts multiple times because in Punjab, Haryana, we have seen the mostly prelims questions are based on the Bear Acts. So I used to go through the Bear Acts previous year questions and other sample books like singles books and universal other books, whichever were helpful for the MCQ practices. And for mains, I have gone through my notes which I have made, and then I have done answer writing practice for that to match my speed and the requirements of the question. I'll say practice is what makes you perfect.
Yes, yes, exactly. And for interview,
So for interview, I've attended the mock interviews. Even in this time, I registered for the live law seco course also. And the reviews that I got from the interview, it boosted my confidence and also gave me a first-hand experience how it is going to be in the interview. And it has helped me a lot.
okay. So mock interviews at Law Seco was useful for you.
Yes, they were indeed very useful as the panels were always very educated persons. They give a thorough review about my weaknesses, my strengths, and what I need to improve in that. They were very useful for me to build up my confidence. And even when I was facing the real interview, I didn't feel scared or nervousness. It was like casually I went there and interview went well.
Okay. So how like Bayer X are very important for prelims, Bayer X and PYQ. So how one should learn the Bayer X provisions of Bayer X? So what were your strategies specifically to learn the provisions of the Bayer X?
I used to revise the main sections of the BRI. For example, in CRPC, the FIR section, investigation section, I used to
Very
divide
important.
it in the chapters and then read them, important sections. And I used to read the barracks repetitively. Every time I used to read them, I find myself finding another view of a particular provision. This is how I read my barracks. Compet-
Okay. And how did you practice for the mains answer?
so for mains answer writing, also I take law seco moocs for the mains writing. Even
Okay.
then, I used to continuously write the questions and the mocks which were given by the Lossico platform. They used to give the detailed review. I used to mend myself accordingly, and in the next mock, I was definitely improving. And this was my strategy. I used to write and revise the main writing.
Okay. So like mains and prelims, very different means the pattern is very different. So how you have adopted, what strategies you have adopted to prepare for both the things means have you prepared simultaneously or have you first prepared for the prelims exam and then for the mains exam? So what was your strategy?
So for the prelims, I mainly focused on the bare acts, whereas for the
Okay,
mains, I focused on the conceptual clarity of the things. I used to make my notes during the prelims times also. I used to focus on
okay,
prelims before the prelim exam, but I used to make the notes simultaneously so that because after prelims and between mains there are hardly 2 to 3 months. So I used to complete my
okay.
notes previously and then revise them after the prelims for mains.
So note making is very important. Is
Right,
it
sir.
so?
Note making is very important.
So at last time, at last moment, means just 1 week before the exam, how you prepare means how what are the strategies for the revision of prelims and mains specifically? So you just go through the notes or any other strategies or any other source as well during that time.
Sir, for prelims, I used to write the questions which I couldn't answer in the mock tests. I used to make a separate notebook for that. In the last week, I used to just read them and revise the indexes of the barracks. And in the mains, I revise my notes and the recent judgments upon the topics which are important. For the last week, I dedicated myself onto these things only.
Okay. So in that exam, how many members were there in the panel?
So there were 5 members in in the panel when I faced the interview.
Okay. Any specific questions which they asked to you?
They asked me about the dying declaration, how a dying declaration
Okay.
is recorded, about what if the victim survives, what will be the value of the dying declaration. They asked me questions regarding this. And secondly, there was Honorable Mr. Justice Anil Kshetrapal sir. He asked me about the Jamabandis. How can you recognize a land from the Jamabandis? Questions were regarding this only.
Okay. And how much time was there for the interview? Means how much time?
My interview lasted barely for 7 to 8 minutes. It wasn't a long interview. It was just,
Okay.
yes,
Means it was very short interview as such.
yes.
So
It
were you
barely lasted
comfortable
7.
there during that time?
Yes, sir. The honorable panel was very nice. They made me comfortable, and then they started asking questions. They made sure that I'm
Okay.
comfortable first before they started asking.
Okay. Okay. So when did you complete your LLB?
So I completed my LLB in 2020.
2020. Okay.
Right.
So the like this exam preparation, it take a long time. So during that preparation, have you ever feel stressed or some sort of strain,
Yes, sir. Indeed,
anything
there
like
was
that?
such time. There were such times when I feel like giving up because first I appeared for Haryana interview, then I appeared for Punjab interview. Giving interview and
Okay.
starting afresh from the prelims, it is indeed very tiring mentally and physically both. But my family supported me throughout. They were my biggest supporters. They pushed me towards it. You can do it. And I did it finally this time.
So any other strategy to to deal with such situations? Means like if you are stressed or feeling some sort of social pressure and anything else like that.
Another strategy which I opted was I used to, when I feel stressed or feel like giving up, I used to close my books and sit back and think why I started this. Since I have come all this
Okay.
way, I shouldn't give up right now. I used to meditate and think about my goal, what I finally want to achieve. And I'll say be true to your goal and you'll find the confidence and the strength from within.
Okay, how much time it take to complete the syllabus for the mains and for the prelims? कितना मतलब समय लग जाता है पूरा मतलब कंप्लीट करने में? तो एक बार हम बोल सकते हैं कि नहीं अब हमारा सिलेबस जो है वो कंप्लीट हो चुका है.
Initially, when you start preparing, it takes around 10 to 11 months to completely go through the syllabus. Once you start revising, then I'll say धीरे धीरे time थोड़ा थोड़ा कम होता रहता है because you get used to reading that and you got the concept clarity. धीरे धीरे you can do the syllabus even within 3 to 4 months. You can complete the whole syllabus.
Just a minute. Just a minute, Shruti. Sushant sir will be joining.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, we were discussing about how much time it will take to complete the syllabus of, of prelims and mains. So we were discussing this, so you can continue your sharing your thought about it.
Yes, sir. As I was saying, for the prelims, it take hardly 2 to 3 months because you only have to go through the bare acts and previous year questions. And for main, it is
Okay,
a long process. In initial years of the when I started preparing in initial year, it took me around 10 to 11 months to complete my whole syllabus. Whereas after I keep on revising, now it take me almost 4 to 5 months to complete my whole syllabus because
okay.
I've
So,
already prepared my notes and it is only going through those notes and revising them that take time.
okay. So, what were your strategies for preparing the language portion, means Hindi and English? Because it is a very significant portion in Haryana Judicial Services exam. So,
Indeed,
how
sir,
you
language
prepare
is a
for it?
very yeah, language is very important for the Haryana judicial exam. It can actually be a make and break subject. I never neglected
Exactly.
language. I daily used to set aside almost 2 to 3 hours for the language subject only. Either I start my day with the English or Hindi language, or I used to end my day with other language. I continuously go through the language, grammar, and I used to write one essay every week so that I prepare my essays also.
Okay. So, when did you decide to go for the law, means for pursuing LLB?
So I decided to go for the law in my second year of the graduation. When I was pursuing
Okay,
my
during
BA,
your BA. And for your judicial services exam, that you have to go for the judicial services exam. When did you decide for it?
so for that, in the second semester of my law only, I decided that I have to go for the judicial services. When I was studying
So,
law, I used to,
okay.
yeah.
So before that, what was your thought of joining or pursuing law? So have you ever thought of practicing law or anything else?
Yes, when I decided that I have to pursue law in the second year of my graduation, I only decided that I have to do practice with my father. I will be practicing with him in his chambers. But when I started doing my
Okay,
law, I decided that judiciary is a better option for me. I should go for the judiciary. So that's why judiciary.
okay. So can you suggest some specific topics or specific areas in from where the questions are being asked in Haryana Judicial Services exams in mains or in prelims, which you realized during your preparation that, oh, yes, this is the specific area from where most of the questions are asked, or which is having more weightage, we can say.
Almost every year the exam is different. So the base pattern remains the same. The exam is different. As we have seen this year, the more weightage was given to the minor subjects. However, some questions which remain constant are bail provisions, the questions relating to bail, be it default bail or compulsory bail, whatever, the bail provisions are always asked. Then some questions relating to investigation process in CRPC are always asked. If we come to CPC, the questions relating to res judicata or res sub judice, these are the questions which are asked almost every year. In if I have to say the paper two, which is civil law two, the questions relating to in Hindu law, the questions are mostly relating to section 16 of the Hindu Marriage Act. This question I have seen constantly being asked in the papers.
Okay. Okay. So what about local laws? So how you prepare for it? Whether the Bare Act is sufficient or we have to go for other resources as well.
For the local laws, there are very limited set of questions which are asked every year. So I guess the Bare Act and the writing the previous year questions is sufficient for the local laws. Like I say, the Haryana Rent Act, they always ask the question, the grounds of eviction in Haryana Rent Act. Only doing the Bare Act is sufficient in that cases.
Okay. Okay. Any strategy which you think which is important for remembering the case laws and Bare Act provisions which you have adopted?
The only strategy is the revision. You can
Exactly.
revise
Revision is
them
very
into.
important.
Another thing is which I sometimes use is I used to relate the Bare Act provisions which I couldn't remember to the things in my real life, like someone's birthday, or which I feel are
Okay.
important and cannot be for. I used to forget them. I used to relate it the real life instances. This way, I can remember
Okay.
the sections which are important for the prelims, of course. And for the case laws,
Okay.
the only strategies is the revision.
Okay. Yes. And one more thing, like it is very important to remember the case laws and Bare Act provisions. So what is the strategy and how much time one take to complete the paper? Or
Pardon,
we
sir,
can
could
say
you
how
repeat?
to complete the paper in time limit.
Yes. This is the very important thing in a mains that you have to complete your exam in time. There are in Haryana, there are five questions in the subparts of those questions. My strategy has always remained to complete every question within 35 minutes, not to take 35 minutes for one question. When I used to write,
Okay.
do answer writing practice, even then I used to do questions like this that I have to complete every question in 7 to 8 minutes because mostly there are five questions with four subparts. If I could complete within 7 to 8 minutes in a sitting in the environment at the home, definitely it is going to take 1 to 2 extra minute in the mains because there is a lot of pressure at that time. I used to practice in this way that I could complete my question in time, and it really helped me in the mains writing.
Okay. Can someone prepare along with the work, means along with the practice or any other work?
Indeed, anyone can prepare. because all you need to do is spend 2 3 hours of your day dedicated to your preparation. You can definitely make it. Just be focused when you are studying. It is not like you have to spend 10 to 12 hours every day studying, only then you can make it. If you are practicing, you are already gaining the practical knowledge and your law is getting strong. And most of the questions in mains are on the basic topics which you already deal every day in your practice. You can definitely do if you are practicing or doing some other jobs. Just set aside at least 2 to 3 hours in a day towards this.
Okay. How much time when we can prepare in short time as well?
Sorry, sir, could you please repeat the question?
Okay, what I am asking that many of people say that it has to one has to devote a long hours while preparation, means 8 to 12 hour or long hour than that. So is it so or something else?
Everyone has their own strategy. Some can prepare for 8 to 10 hours a day, and others can only study for 2 to 3 hours a day and still remain more focused than one studying 8 to 10 hours. Everyone has their own caliber. I'll say whatever suits for you, you can go for that. If you can study 10 to 12 hours and only then feel that I have studied, then you can go for that. Even for 2 to 3 hours a day, if you are completely focused in that time and doing proper exam based study, even that can work. You just have to do some smart work also if you are dedicating less time to your preparations.
If not law or judiciary, what was your alternative to it?
Okay, Shruti. So I would like to know your interview about the interview. Like, how much time did it go for? How long? Was it? How many panelists were there? What questions were you asked? Can you give us a insight of the same?
Yes, ma'am. There were five panelists and during my interview. My interview lasted for around 7 to 8 minutes. And the question I've already said they were asked about the time declaration and the Jama Bandis.
Okay. So if not judiciary, then what option you have opted for?
If not judiciary, first of all, my goal has always remained judiciary. I have always
Okay.
thought that I'll do the judicial services. If not judiciary, I would have been practicing in the district courts.
Okay. So have you do you have any time management strategy during your preparation?
So I used to give 5 to 6 hours a day to my studies. I used to start with the language. then the law subjects, and after that I used to end with the other language, which if I start with the English, I used to end with the Hindi. And then at the night, I used to revise all the subjects, all what I have done during the day. This has been my strategy so
Okay.
far.
And any important strategy, specific strategy for revision? Because revision is very subjective thing.
For revision, when I used to do prelims, I used to pick two bare acts a day. Firstly, I used to read all the bare act provisions. And when I was doing revision, I used to try memorizing all the sections of the bare act, all the important provisions of that bare act. If I forgot, I used to check them and then again read that sections. This was what I used to do for the prelims. And for the mains, I picked two subjects a day, two law subjects, main subjects. And in the morning, I used to read the proper topics. Read topic wise. For example, if I am doing res judicata and sub judice, I used to read all about that in the morning. And at the night, I used to write about what I could remember. This is how I did my revision.
Okay, how logical mocks were useful for you?
Lossico mocks were very useful for me. In the prelims, it helped me testing my knowledge, building confidence, and reducing the error. I used to make errors while attempting the prelims. Even if I know question, I sometimes mark wrong. The constant practice at
Okay,
the lossy mocks helped me reducing that error in my prelims. And for the mains, there was a very detailed review. The questions, my sheets were checked timely, and there was a very detailed review with every question in the lossy mocks, which really helped me a lot in changing my writing style and definitely increasing my marks in the mains.
okay, and interview.
Interview as I have already discussed, the panelists in the at the Lawsico platform are very helpful. They used to give me a detailed review about my strengths and my weaknesses, what improvements are needed, and sometimes they even uh, give me the topics that I need to revise so that I can perform better and boost my confidence.
Okay, there is one question from the viewers. How you have prepared for the GK and GS
Sir, GK and GS are not the part of Haryana mains exam.
Haryana?
They are only asked in the preliminary exams. I used to read newspapers for that, current newspaper, and I have followed the book Lucent GK for the static GK.
Okay. Any other questions which you remember which were asked in interview?
So my interview was based on only these questions, the dying declaration and the Jamabandi question. In dying declaration, they
Okay,
asked first what is dying declaration, their provisions, and then they asked if supposedly you are a JMIC and there is a woman in the hospital with the 80% burn, and you have gone there to record her dying declaration, how will you proceed? And next question they asked were, is it necessary that the women sign the dying declaration? And after that, the next question was, what if she survives? What will be the value of the dying declaration? The next question they asked was, uh, if the woman firstly said that her husband and her in-laws has caused her the burn injuries, in the statement at the in the court, she resigns from her earlier statement and said that she herself got burned. How will you treat that woman then? How will you treat the testimony of that woman? These were the questions regarding the dying declaration. And then the Jamabandis was the question was under which provisions the Jamabandis are made and how will you recognize a land by Jamabandi?
okay. So, like these days, the questions in means are asked in a case law basis. So, how you prepared for it?
So I used to read the latest judgments, all the recent developments in laws, which are major developments in law, and make notes of that developments. Also, even if they are asked about the judgment based question, they are a very landmark judgment. They do not ask any random judgment. These are the judgments that every law student should know, and judicial aspirants are supposed to know this. So it is not very difficult to shortlist those recent judgments. Like in Punjab, the judgment was asked was Sukhpal Singh Khera judgment. It was recent and landmark judgment at that time.
So any specific source which you have adopted for the landmark judgments?
Sir, I have read the judgments from live law and Indian Qanun only. Have followed these two sources for the
Okay.
recent judgments.
Okay, how you select means there are so many judgments. Every day Supreme Court delivers some or other verdict. So how you culled it out that which judgment we have to study or which we have to leave?
Yes. I selected those judgments under which some directions or some information is given regarding that this is how it should be proceeded. I selected those judgments and I wrote those judgments down. Even if I couldn't, let us assume that there is a judgment in the exam that I don't know about what judgment is about. They even in the mains they write that this judgment is about this section, what was held in that judgment. Even then, you can proceed with that section and the previous judgments which are based on that section. You can always manipulate your answer like that.
Okay, these days, as we know, everyone use social media. So can social use of social media and preparation go together, or we have to stay away from the social media during preparation?
I'll say you do not have to isolate yourself completely from the world during your preparation. What you have to keep in check is scrolling, like you're scrolling for 2, 3 hours and watching reels, which are not in any way helpful to you. In fact, they are detrimental to your mental health as well. You can keep that in check. You do not have to isolate yourself from your family or your friends. You can keep in touch with them, but just check the unnecessary scrolling and checking out social media.
Any tips which you would like to share with the viewers that they should do this and they shouldn't do that?
Some tips are: first, you should know your exam, what you are preparing for. Check your previous year questions, plan accordingly, do smart study. Although you have to have in depth knowledge of every subject, for clearing exam, you can also do the smart study also. You can check the previous year question, check the pattern of the state, and then plan your preparations accordingly. Stay persistent. Please do not do like this that one day you are studying for 10 to 12 hours, next 4 5 days you are not even touching your book. Be continuous in your studies, straight true to your goal, and you will make it.
Consistency is very important,
Indeed, consistency is very important.
and it is very tough to be consistent. So, what you, matlab, how you manage it?
Every day I used to remind myself that I have to do this. And even if I couldn't study continuously for the same number of hours every day, if I do not feel like studying today, I can choose some small topic or some basic topic which I already know and used to study that. But daily studying and revising is very important. You can take breaks occasionally, like every fortnight or every week, every weekend. You can take a break, but do not extend that break to 4 to 5 days, or then everything will go down.
Okay, so any strategy for revision? Revision is because very subjective. Everyone have their own strategies, but any strategy of yours, like note making or anything else?
I have already prepared my notes during the before the prelim exams. I have completed my notes. Even during my when I was completing my law, I have completed my basic notes in the before 2020
Okay.
only. In this initial
During your
years, I
law
used
school
to
only.
I have completed my law notes in my law school
That's
only.
great.
Then I used to revise those notes in initial years because you are not very well versed with the law also. You need to revise everything. I used to do every topic, even from the books, even from the notes. And with time, I developed my concepts. I got strong hold on my concepts. Then I culled out the important topics from those notes and started and prepared another set of notes which have only the important topics and the landmark judgments. And from them, I read those notes if there is another judgment on that topic recent. When I used to revise the topic, if there is some recent judgment on that topic, I used to write that alongside my notes. And in this way, I revised my notes.
So, like notes were handwritten or it was in Word file or anything else?
My notes were handwritten. I feel more convenient reading from notes, underlining or highlighting whenever I'm studying, so that I get the confidence that I have read this topic, I have done this topic, these are the important things. That whenever I open my notes, I should see that this is a highlighted portion, this is important, and I have to revise this portion.
क्योंकि बहुत लोग ऐसा कहते हैं कि जैसे अगर आप वर्ड फाइल में नोट्स बना लेते हैं तो उसमें आपको कुछ ऐड करना हो लैंडमार्क प्लेसेस तो वो सब ऐड कर सकते हैं। तो कई लोग ऐसा भी फॉलो करते हैं, तो क्या आपके साथ ऐसा था?
Uh, Even in my handwritten notes, after every topic, I have left 5 to 6 pages blank that if there is some
ओके,
changes
यस,
or some recent judgment is there. And even if the pages are filled, I used to paste another page if there is a landmark judgment on that topic or some other
ओके।
changes.
These are the strategies actually, because people don't know, people asking कि if we have to add something, then where should we add? Means we have to use some other notebook. But here you told about that just leave 5, 6 pages, or you have to add something, then add some pages along with the that topic. That's a very good strategy. Okay, thank you, Shruti. Thank you for joining Loss Eco. And once again, congratulations on your big success on behalf of Loss Eco.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.